Welcome to CoVerse, the podcast. I have an incredibly special episode that's very timely. ITC is just weeks away. Everyone is talking about it. And I have Bill Harris, the co founder and chief customer officer for ITC Vegas, the big show. It is here, it's coming. Let's get ready for it. Bill.
Hey, thank you. It's good to be here, Brett. Thanks for having me. And yes, it's big and it's coming fast. And yeah, we're getting less and less sleep every day.
I know, yeah, but so exciting. This is a meaningful one for CoVerse because we launched at last year's ITC. It's our 1 year birthday, so we're doing a little birthday pop up. We're
Awesome.
doing a whole bunch of supporting things for our clients who are releasing books at ITC, and our partners at Insurance Nerds are doing a thing. So we're super excited to talk to you. I have so many questions for you. We could talk all day, but I kept it to the ones I think everyone is interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys, every year I mean, everyone who knows ITC, it's like a booked week on the calendar, in advance. People start signing up, as soon as the last one was over. You guys pick a theme every year, and I think you would have energy around the event even without a theme, but it's contagious once you set the theme and kind of put those wheels in motion, and you guys are so creative around it. Space seems to be playing a big role in the theme this year. What led to that? How did you guys decide on this year's theme?
Yeah, it's funny. The original impetus for the theme was the fact that the US was supposed NASA was going to do the Artemis project, right, this year, the Artemis mission, where that was the manned spacecraft back to the moon.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh, that will be really cool. And people
Yeah.
were talking about it. And it kept on getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I think I'm not a super huge space nerd. I'm fascinated by space and
Yeah.
all the innovation that space represents. Um, so I was really intrigued by that. And we said, yeah, let's do it. There's a lot we can do with that theme. But you see, even look like, the Starliner mission.
Yeah.
Has been in the news a little bit less now that the aircraft, actually, the vehicle got back, but we still have those two astronauts on the
Yeah.
ISS until
There.
February. But we
Yeah.
went, full in. We have Captain Scott Kelly, who prior, like as of maybe a year or so ago, had served like the longest space mission in history. Someone has eclipsed him, and I think those two folks from Starliner are about to also eclipse him. So we've got him as a keynote speaker we're really excited about. But it's just a cool theme. There's so much we can do, visually, aesthetically at the event. It's going to really look awesome. And it's not going to look like just, regular trade show or conference or whatever. You'll see a lot
Yeah.
of cool stuff just kind of
I'm really excited
imbued
to hear.
throughout.
I first of all, like, just parking lotting this, but I had the privilege of working a lot around Senator Mark Kelly, and who was also an astronaut. So they're
Right.
like the only like brothers to consistently rotate when he was on duty, and he's a phenomenal speaker. And I've heard great things about his brother. So
Yeah,
really geeked out to
we're
hear from
super
him
excited.
firsthand. But as you were talking about how it's kind of like a different layout and cool things being brought into just the walk the floor experience, you have neighborhoods this year. Will you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, we're really excited about the neighborhoods, and it goes back to, people have told us, especially as we've grown. Even when we were small, people were like, "Wow, this is a big show. This is a big show." Now, last few years, we've had 9,000 people. This year, we're expecting between 9 and 10,000 people, and the delegates come to us and they say,
Crazy.
"The show is great. Everyone's here. I do literally 6 months to a year's worth of meetings in 3 days. It's
I know,
fantastic."
yeah.
But it's hard to find people. Like logistically, it's hard to, figure out where I'm going and what have you. So we came up with this neighborhoods concept, and we're really excited about it. We've got four main neighborhoods, really. Okay. We've done LATAM in the past. ITC LATAM was a show we did standalone. We've kind of absorbed that in ITC Vegas. ITC LATAM is a neighborhood. Our innovation alley, where we have our startups. We're going to have like 200 startups in those startup kiosks
Amazing.
with the innovation stage. That's a neighborhood, right? We've got a broker neighborhood. We've
Oh,
partnered with
great.
Broker Tech Ventures over the past few
Your
years.
carrier attendees will. laser focus on that broker alley, right?
Absolutely. So we've got a broker neighborhood. We also have a life annuities and group benefits neighborhood, which is new this year. We had a track last year, but we're also bringing the stage into the expo hall. So all these neighborhoods I've talked about thus far are in the expo hall. So it's the Innovation Alley, the LATAM neighborhood, the broker neighborhood, the life annuity and group benefits neighborhood with the stage. And last but not least, we're really leaning into, again, the distribution side. ITC Agents is technically like it's not a neighborhood in the expo hall, but it's an event within an event this year.
That's
On
so cool.
Tuesday, we have a full day of we're taking one of the ballrooms on the second floor and we're just making it all agents. So it's all agent
Oh,
content.
wow.
Content. My colleague Drake Slaku Lawhead leads that and has assembled a great group of advisors like Ryan Hanley, Chris Paradiso, people that run digital
Great.
agencies, uh,
Yeah.
Aubrey Knight, or what have you. And we're really excited about that because we really have not done a great job with engaging agents, really at the point of sale. And they're so critical in insurance, the
They
distribution
are.
model. The carrier is always saying to us, like, we need to get more agents. We want to talk to more agents. And,
Yep.
so this is a way for us to really get agents and get more distribution focused conversations into the mix. So we're doing that all day Tuesday and part of the day Wednesday. We're inviting the agents, hey, come and stay, come and see what else is going on, even though
Yeah.
obviously a lot of the content doesn't necessarily on like Wednesday, Thursday talk
Yeah.
about, how do you run your agency? How do you build your agency? How do you grow your agency? How do you do customer acquisition and customer experience? We're really going deep into that and kind of that Gary V kind of growth hacking mentality
Yeah.
we talked about last year. That's happening all day on Tuesday. And we just think there's so much to stick around for at ITC. So we're really excited about all those neighborhoods and just making the show feel a little bit smaller and helping people, find their flock, have those conversations. Because if you're in the ITC brokers neighborhood and you're just hanging out. And also, the exhibitors will be there in the brokers area, and we have some fun stuff in the life area. We have like some lawn games, and we've got a
Oh,
lounge
fun.
area that people can hang out in. People are saying, hey, I want to sit down and have
Yeah.
conversations. All that stuff will be happening in the LATAM neighborhood. We have a great like football or soccer to us gringo
Oh,
Americans,
great.
right?
Yeah.
A penalty shot competition. A lot of cool stuff
That's
happening. A lot of
amazing.
activations. Yeah.
Yeah, I when I needed to sit down last year, I just went to that puppy booth and cuddled puppies, and it was amazing. That was like such a boost when you're
We'll
tired.
have two more puppy lounges. We'll have two puppy
Yes,
lounges
the
again
puppy
this year.
lounges are great.
I love
Well,
them.
I'm glad that it sounds like the a person's personal trade show strategy, which is something that we talk about a lot here. We've interviewed Stacey Brown about it. We've talked to everybody about it. Part of that strategy has to be solid footwear, whether they're only staying in one neighborhood or just going back and forth between their hotel and the main stage. It is a lot of walking. There are like people who know the secret ways to bypass it through the Mandalay Bay parking lot. So I tend to follow them. And a lot of them are wearing statement sneakers, like
Yep,
Brian Falchuk rocks a green sneaker, Stacy
yep,
rocks a red sneaker. So
yep.
we're always talking about sensible footwear, whatever your stage style is. If you're speaking, if you're attending, rock something that you can walk in. So
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely. We say
a,
that to the
a,
first timers. It's such important because so much of our audience, has frankly not been. We've expanded the
yeah,
audience in terms of size, and we're getting a lot of first timers, and it's so important. We always start with wear comfortable shoes because there's no reason. You're definitely going to get in like 15, 20,000 steps a day.
yeah.
So be
We're
comfortable.
interviewing some style icon people in the insurance space who really talk about like from a personal branding aspect, power colors and jeans with a jacket and like what does Insuretech style mean? And for me, I'm always fascinated by what people choose, like coming from the legacy carrier world, which was very conservative and suit, tie heels. So you're buttoned up. And now, after several years in insurtech and building my own brand, it's got a lot of influence from those experiences that are so uniquely insurtech.
Yeah.
And people I think look forward to that because when you think I'm going to an insurance conference, if your experience is largely rims and CIAB, it is a more buttoned up approach. But if you are at ITC, I love that everyone there kind of kicks back a little bit and is comfortable in stuff they can go out to dinner in. People ask, they call whoever's their publicist or their PR person and say, like, what do I wear? And I'm just like, rock you here. It's a really good place for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the big show, obviously, that everyone is here for is for the events, the community, the networking. You talked about first timers, and I know you guys make so many unique touch points so that people are not lost. It feels like Disney World. If this is your first ITC, I mean, it's like as if there's a ride for everything insurance related that you want. What are you guys guiding people towards as a resource for the first timers at this show?
Yeah, so we had a first timers webinar a couple of weeks ago, and that's available on
Awesome.
our website, vegas.insuretechconnect.com. People can watch
We'll
that on
post we'll
demand.
post the website here.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have a Know Before You Go webinar coming up in a week or so. So I encourage people again, sign up for that. Back to the first timers, like on site, we actually have on Tuesday a first timer session. So
Oh,
people can
cool.
sign up for that through the app. We also do a tour of the expo hall on Wednesday morning, right before the expo opens at like
Awesome.
7:15 ish a.m. or so. So that was well attended. I mean, there were literally hundreds of people last year going through the expo hall. And it was interesting because like they're still putting finishing touches on stuff at 7:30 in the morning
Yeah.
in the expo. Um, but no, there's so much. We have 14 stages this year, right?
Oh my gosh.
Lot of content happening this year once again. All kinds of different tracks from underwriting to claims, risk management, property, auto, you name it, innovation. We've got a little bit of everything. We've got not only the breadth but the depth.
That's great.
Happening. We've got the greatest speak. We have over 400 speakers. Um, in terms of topics and themes, beyond space, the big theme obviously this year is like Gen AI. Everyone wants to talk about
Yeah.
harnessing generative AI. The other themes that we were talking about, climate change, as Hurricane Helene goes through, the Southeast right now, climate change is still massive.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity, you can't
Yeah.
go a day or so without hearing about a cyber hack. And
Yeah.
I think it's from a few years ago, we had a main stage speaker. I think they said every like 29 seconds, there's a cybersecurity incident. So climate change, cyber, embedded insurance, still
Awesome.
massive
Yeah,
topics.
everything. Parametrics. I mean, anything you could
Parametric.
want to learn about, and the people that come too. I mean, not even just the speakers, but I think one of the things we're hearing is very buzzy between the broker community, who sounds like they have this great space dedicated to them and their growth. But a lot of carriers and MGA people have always been looking like, where are the brokers at ITC? Who can I get in front of? Who can I deal make with? Who can I have some sort of partnership conversations with, or funding conversations? If there's a digital agency, it is a really cool thing to see people that you see meeting each other at ITC become friends on LinkedIn, and they're just like talking to each other all the time. How do you feel reflecting back on, just in less than a decade, what you've been able to achieve as far as, I mean, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars in growth and investment and premium get exchanged per year at ITC, but we see a lot of deals that are announced shortly after people connect there. How do you feel having built this, knowing that it's become such a growth driver?
It's a great question. I feel just tremendous pride, because look, I'm an outsider. I didn't come from the insurance industry. I worked for Aetna as a summer intern, literally like 30 years
Oh,
ago.
wow. I had no
Yeah.
idea. You
But that's the
you
extent
are
of my
you are an insurance person now. There's no doubt of it. You have it down. So
But I've always been in industry. I was a fintech entrepreneur
yeah,
right before this, and I started a company that did like digital payments and inventory management, supply chain management for major retailers in the U.S.
awesome.
Right, so I understood insurtech just in general, just because I was deep in fintech. Um, but yeah, it's insurance is so absolutely critical. And I tell people, insurance is all about protecting the people, the places, and the things that we hold dear. And to be able to really, start InsureTech Connect ITC at the cusp of the InsureTech kind of trend and to bring the ecosystem together and have the premier event that really brings so many parts of this ecosystem together from all over the globe. We usually get people from 60 different countries
That's
coming to
crazy.
ITC every
Yeah.
year. And it gives me so much pride when I see that group of people. And when I go into the expo hall, as soon as you walk in the expo hall, you hear the buzz. It's like
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
train's
It's
coming
it's
through,
nonstop.
and you
Yeah.
hear that buzz, and it's commerce happening, it's relationships happening. It's become really like a homecoming, where
Yeah.
people get back
Totally.
together and they know in the early fall we're going to ITC. We're going to see, our colleagues, especially now in this like post-pandemic area where you don't really get a chance to just hop in and see, people you do business with, like clients. Everything's done over like Zoom and Teams and what have
Yeah.
you now. But to get face to face with your clients, to get face to face with your colleagues and your coworkers,
Yeah.
really become kind of that mecca where everyone
Yeah.
comes together every
For
year and renews relationships. And also, it's an important, from a personal branding. You had mentioned like personal brand. From a personal branding perspective, there's a lot that happens at ITC.
oh
People
yeah.
definitely networking and putting
Launches,
out their
like
personal
independent
brand.
launches. Yeah. It's
Yes,
incredible.
it's a big
There's
job
something
market essentially. You know,
exactly. Yeah, it's something really unique about being in the room when a shared experience happens. I think back to last year when it was Gary V and he's telling everyone, you need to up your LinkedIn game. And people came home and entire communities sprung up that were helping people up their LinkedIn game. And everybody kind of attributes this moment. Social media, we were so slow. I remember the carrier I was with in 2009 having to convince the legal team to let us open a Twitter account or a LinkedIn page, and they had to review every tweet and every
everything,
post
right?
before we put anything. And it was crazy. And now it feels like this robust place for influencers and community and connectivity. And that's a conversation that started in the room at ITC. So it's so neat to see how it has just come through like year round. And really, some companies, as you said, like, it's face to face time with your coworkers. Some all virtual companies, the people meet for the first time at
Right.
ITC. I met two of my MGAs that I was at. I met people from them at ITC, and I'd never, shook a hand, give a hug. It's a
Right.
crazy thing to see um, people bring their online relationships into the room in real life, and that's so meaningful. I think we miss that in a post COVID world. So it's nice to see that the numbers are huge too. 10,000 people post COVID. It's so great.
It's been awesome, and it's just so fulfilling because we've made a massive difference in this industry. It's a $7 trillion industry. I think the U.S. I
Yeah,
studied economics. I believe the U.S. like GDP, not GDP, but the U.S. budget is like 4 trillion ish.
yeah,
Think about that. It's a massive industry, and we're
it
bringing
is.
you know, the key players, the key influencers, people at the top of the industry and people who are brand new to the industry, people who are, loss adjusters or claims adjusters or just, brand new underwriters or whatever, who are just getting their designations and certifications, or people who are agents who are just putting out their shingle and just starting up their own
Yeah,
business. We bring all those folks together and it's just amazing. It's really cool. And I give a lot of credit to, again, it's Caribou Honig who came up with the idea. And Jay, who was the event mastermind, was like, okay, this is how we put the event together. And they brought me into it to help commercialize things and build the audience and what have you. So we really had a great vision and a great blueprint to run with, and it's worked exceptionally
yeah,
well. And we've
for
grown,
sure.
from Vegas to now we've got ITC DIA Europe. They're expanding with London also in January. We have ITC Asia, ITC Japan, the
You
ITC
guys are in
LATAM
Munich.
branch.
You got all kinds of things going on. It's
Got a
crazy.
lot going on with
And
ITC.
yeah, you're just all over the world when you're not in Vegas doing ITC. So it's cool to see how you've shaped and cultivated the show around a more global presence. I love meeting founders from, Israel or from other places that I don't typically cross paths with unless I'm deliberately introduced to them. And it's so neat to be able to just like what do you do? What are you inventing that I'm not sure is happening yet? I haven't heard, and I meet these people and I come home and I'm like, I feel better about climate and insurance because I know these brilliant minds are working on it in rooms I'm not in. And it feels like a little bit of a jolt, adrenaline jolt for people who go when they come back. I see people kind of hit the period between 10/1 and end of the year with a little more enthusiasm after they've come back.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to discover, especially in our expo hall. We're going to have 600 exhibitors. There's a lot of discovery happening, a lot of fun too. There's the
Yeah.
puppies and the Federado Beer Garden and great coffee lounges and
The
all
concerts,
kinds of.
which is something we
Boys
need to
to
talk about.
Men is going to be our closing
Boys
party
to
this
Men
year.
is there. This is for me one of the things I learned watching first timers, as this is, I think I can't even remember how many this is for me, but I like a lot of people remember it by the people who performed at the concert, right? So you had Salt and Peppa. I have pictures with them. That was like intensely cool. Ludacris last year, it was like in the pool,
Ludacris with
rolling my pants
Coolio.
up.
Don't forget Coolio. So,
Coolio,
so
yeah, you
Salt and
guys
Pepper the first
had
year, right? And Billy
amazing.
Idol, and
Yeah,
then we had the pandemic, and then we came back with Ludacris and Coolio,
Ludacris was great. Yeah,
UB40,
yeah,
Earth, Wind, and
it's
Fire
insane.
last year.
If you love, yeah, if you love music, like that last night is essential. And I think a lot of people come and think, oh, I got to go like buy tickets for this or find tickets. You guys don't charge people for tickets. You give the tickets away at the show. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, I just go and I look and they're handing them out. And I think that's something that's so neat because Vegas entertainment is not cheap. And that's like a great way to fit something in. It's usually outside the Mandalay
It's
Bay
at
or
the
in a
beach,
cool
right?
venue in
At the
Mandalay
beach there.
Bay. And you get that experience, with colleagues. I never thought I'd be in a pool wearing clothes with coworkers watching Ludacris. So it was crazy.
Great
And
fun.
yeah, Boys to Men. It's amazing that people that you get to come to this conference.
Yeah. No, it's, again, we conferences now are much different than they were, a few years ago and even like 10 years ago, right? It's an experience and people
Yeah,
conference goers are looking for, they call it bleisure, right? Business and
yeah,
leisure blended
yep,
together. And look, you're going to take 3, 4 days out of your week. You're going to leave your family behind.
yeah,
Yes, you're going to come and be productive. You're going to meet a ton of people. You're going to have all kinds of great, insightful meetings and discover stuff. But we want you to have fun. That's why we feed you really well, right? No one goes
yeah.
away
Food is great.
starving. You're going to have wonderful opportunities to have some, beverages, whether they're like coffees with,
Yeah.
special like logo
Great
designs on
water.
the
Somebody
top,
brought artisan water last year,
right?
flavored waters, like so great to
Waters,
refresh and hydrate. You need to
right?
hydrate.
Ice creams,
Yeah.
nitrogen, ice cream, all kinds of stuff. But
Nitrogen
the,
ice
the
cream is cool.
closing party is part of that. We want people to have that experience and have those kinds of organic kind of experiences like you described that you
Yeah,
normally wouldn't get in the office. Right? Vegas
for
is a
sure.
magical place. It really is. Like love it or hate it, right? It's
Yeah, it is. It
overwhelming. It
has its
certainly
own
is
magic for
overwhelming.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a
It's a
lot.
little it's a little much, but I kind of like, I mean, we've been to so many venues for so many trade shows in Vegas in the insurance industry. I kind of like the fact that it's always at Mandalay Bay is just kind of like I map it out. I plan my stay, I plan my flights to leave. Like I take a red eye home after the concert because it makes the most sense for my family that I get home, drop the kids at school, and then I sleep the
And then sleep
entire day
off.
the kids are at school to recover. And that's usually a Friday. So then I have the weekend and then I get to work on Monday with the stuff. Normally we're sharing content our clients are sharing from ITC. Like I said, this year people are launching books, new businesses, celebrating. Insurance is celebrating their 10th anniversary at ITC this year. You guys have really become sort of the hub for activity in Insuretech, and you're pulling a lot of legacy players in, which is kind of cool to see for those of us who've been there since the beginning.
Yeah. As well
Bill,
as,
we are going to be,
investors, if I can jump in, we
yeah, go
have,
ahead.
not only the carriers, the legacy incumbents, the risk managers, but also it's been key to have, we've had all the great investors in InsureTech, and they're coming again this year, all the major firms. Um, obviously all the innovators. We're gonna have like 600 or so startups. We've got a great in the
Right.
app. We have that compendium of startups so you can
The app
download
is
a
great. The app is
spreadsheet.
essential.
The app is essentially
Pro
you download
tip.
the map and know where you're going.
Yeah.
Regulators also, we're going to have like, 30, 40 regulators again this year. So that's great. And that's also something that you really don't see at a lot of the other shows where,
Yeah.
the regulators are actually there so you can talk to them. You have opportunities to meet with them and engage with them. So, we really, again, try to get the entire ecosystem
Yeah.
represented. And yeah, it's something that we work 362 days a year planning
I
for these
know.
days,
It shows. It is an experience everybody wants to be a part of. You guys make it feel very inclusive, and I'm so excited. This is one of the like year moments that I can meet in my calendar year that I can actually see my insurance friends, and
Yeah.
we plan. There's a whole undercurrent. Just reach out to people on LinkedIn, follow all the resources that Bill has shared, and we're sharing the links. One contest, Bill, that we have kicked off for CoVerse's party at LinkedIn is show us your shoes. We
Ah,
talked about sensible footwear. We happen to know many influencers who rock a colored sneaker, who rock a cool boot. Um, Sometimes people have slipped into their Birkenstocks when day 4 hits and they're like just they can't anymore with shoes that are not open toed. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it
So it
is
could be a
a
sneaker
contest.
parade, essentially. Like we should.
Yeah, it is. We're asking people before they go to share a picture of their sneakers on the Coverse post that goes with this podcast. You will be entered to win a Coverse swag basket, including Bobby Srivasav's new book, Momentum, which features 10 influencers who are women in the female founder and Insuretech space, many who are speakers of yours. And so we are excited to be able to partner and sponsor with you guys this year. It means so much to us that you spent the time to talk to us and to share some of these things for first timers and long timers to know.
Yeah,
um, Thank you so much.
thank you.
We will make sure that we're directing people to the right resources. Any last pro tips before people start packing?
Take a look at the app. Like for example, there was
Download the app.
again this year, the Women's Leadership Forum is happening. The Black Founders Meetup is happening. We've got a lot of
Awesome.
things happening. VC office hours. If you're trying to raise money, we've got, like 18 or so venture capitalists who will just be sitting around for 90 minutes just so you can
Yeah,
say, look at the app,
stoke it up.
put that
That is a
stuff
unique
on your
opportunity.
calendar. Yeah, there's a lot to do, there's a lot to see. So use that app and plan your time. Give yourself
Have
also a
to
little bit of a break time. I always tell people,
take a
don't
nap.
over plan because let
If
the
you can,
serendipity
yeah,
happen, you know?
if you can get back to your room and take a nap. I like very intentionally, another hack of mine is like on the day I know I need a nap, I do not I put a do not disturb sign so housekeeping doesn't come, because you'll always go back to your room and someone's in there.
Right,
And I
right.
just keep my room very tidy, and like that's what works for me, because by day 3 I'm like I need an hour of not talking to people. But that recharges you, and you have to take care of yourself on the road. Cody Eddings was just on the pod, and he was sharing how in his conference, he's in a conference whirlwind right now, and on his way to ITC, and he shared some, hydrate, take vitamins kind of advice. We love a good pro tip, and you've given
Yeah.
us so many. So thank you. We will talk to you again on
Yes.
the floor at ITC, and then again after for our audience to kind of recap for people who didn't get to make it this year. We love to bring the content outside and share it. Bill, you're amazing. You are a hero to so many in this industry.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time. We can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been great. See you guys at ITC.
See you there.